Well, we're back out here at the bathhouse. Time to get some actual maintenance work started. And the first thing we need to do is get rid of those trees up there. That's not a good spot for a tree. Get a closer look at what's going on here. So, tree over there and tree over here. Looks like they found a little crack and they've been trimmed before, clearly. So, I don't know where the roots actually run to, probably into the brick. But that's definitely not what we want. And then we can actually get a better look at what's going on with this sheet metal. They did just cap it right over the terracotta that had some issues. So one of these days, maybe we'll take it off, caulked a little bit, slid on, see what we actually got going on there, if it can be repaired or just better to leave it like this. Who knows? But in the meantime, that's better. Clean that up a little more. Put some weed tree killer on there. At some point, I guess I want to get up here and probably seal this up better. But I think that's a problem for cooler weather. It's into the 90s today. It's amazing how nature always finds a way. But that's better. I often joke that this channel is really a weather channel masquerading as a construction and building channel, and there's some truth to it, but look at that beautiful storm way off to the east in Illinois somewhere, getting lit up by the setting sun over the bathhouse. Well, for years we've had our storage scattered around in a lot of non-ideal places, 3 shipping containers, the lot behind the collapsing little house project that is on pause while we work on other things that actually make us money, because YouTube doesn't really make us money yet, or ever, who knows. It's fun, it's not my primary income, but need to move this all up to the bathhouse, sort through things, get rid of some things. Pallets of brick can be stored better, scaffolding stored inside, that would be nice. Extra pallets inside. So it's a process, but forks on the Bobcat certainly make it easier. Alright, pretty simple operation. Just brought everything up here that I'm taking today, set it off the alley. Now just bring it in through the door. Last video I promised a tour of the boiler dungeon, and we'll get down there in just a moment, but a couple things as we go. There was at least a comment or two about our slight struggle moving the trailer in with just the bucket on the Bobcat. We actually have gotten a fancy little attachment here since then. I can slide a trailer hitch in there one of these days, and that just goes right over the Bobcat mounting plate there. Should make things a little easier. That's the plan, at least. My brother gets the credit for getting that. And we did actually buy the forklift here. A couple flaws before we can actually use it. So it does need a new starter, but they say it starts hitting it. That'll work for a time. It does need a battery. We already knew that. But they had to take the propane tank back to the supplier because apparently it was a tank on lease. So we'll have to buy a tank, lease a tank, one way or another, get that resolved. So that is an upcoming task to take care of it. Then we can fire it up, move it around. It will certainly be more maneuverable in this space than the T66 Bobcat. Number one, because the way forklifts steer, they can get into even tighter spaces than like a skid steer like this. It's also smaller. So, yeah, that'll make a difference. And never send something to do a forklift's job when you have a forklift, because like they're the best at actually lifting pallets of stuff straight up and down. Skid steer is great in the dirt, and it works just fine with forks. It's not a forklift. So that's exciting. Once we get that moved, we can move that shear, figure it out, do something. I don't know. We'll see. But the basement is back this way, and looks like I may need to change the batteries in the light before we get down there. So hold on just a moment. Take two on this. So the basement is under the back about 25, 30 feet, give or take, down this stair, and there don't seem to be any working lights down there right now. So this is the back wall here. The window is mostly intact, but closed up, and that's probably for the best. It's on the alley, but there's also a little transom there. Don't know if that works. I'll have to bring a bulb. Concrete steps. This seems to be partially an original basement and partially concrete, so maybe some of this dates back to that original firehouse from the 1870s. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever know. But they got some pretty hefty concrete work down here. So, like that forklift and that shear above, that's over the basement. Structural concrete seems to be holding it just fine. Some brick infill here. Old compressor tank. I don't know if that's original to the bathhouse or if that was one of the users after 1965. Anyway, it's a mix of board and plywood formed concrete, and they just used the side of the foundation there, and then part of the foundation up front and part of it's concreted up. So there are two boilers down here. One that you can see here. It's got some pallets leaned up against it. And there's some styrofoam and some random just stuff. A bunch of piping, as you would expect, but good hefty beam work. I mean, that's as much as you would find in like a parking garage. So I don't think there are any issues holding that forklift in place. And I had the Bobcat sitting on with it for a little while too, and no obvious signs of any issues doing that. So the main actual drain is running through right there from when we scoped it, and like that's not even connected to anything anymore. I guess some of this stuff down here could be scrapped out. Is it worth the time? I don't know. There's the inside. And then there's a basement that gets lowered down another set of steps here. And that sump pit either doesn't have a pump or the pump is broken, because it doesn't seem to be doing much anymore. I think we can get that fixed. But original stone and brick opening here. This boiler was bigger. Yeah, just for reference, that versus that. Clearly not connected there. I would guess there was asbestos on some of this. The previous owner said everything was abated before they owned it. That was actually a question from a commenter. So there are no known asbestos issues here. That's always nice. Again, a bunch of piping, some connected to stuff, some not. Ooh, big spider web. Just stepped through that. So we did just have some rain, and as you can see, it drips in a little bit from the outside access. We're gonna look at closing that up, and then probably down the chimney as well. That's what the base of that is. So again, cap that off someday so you can see where they pulled off some of the exhaust ductwork here that attached to it. I don't know how that other boiler exhausted. There's nothing obvious. And did they use both boilers all the time? Heck, I don't know. Some old electrical stuff here. And I guess part of it's probably missing here. Or that may have just been exhaust stuff. I don't know. I'm really not a boiler expert. So, they were able, there's a hatch there. I guess they could, if these were coal-fired, they could just drop the coal down. For the time, it being built in 1937, coal would make some sense. But it is all cleaned up pretty nicely down here. That window is for light. There's a hatch over it. May close that up. Doesn't really serve a purpose anymore. We're not really going to be doing much down here. Again, original doorway. So somebody had thrown stuff down here at some point. Some random scrap, and yeah, I mean, we may drag that out of here. But that is the actual sewer line. That is the center pipe there is what is actually active still, and it goes out there. That's where we scoped it. That's why it's got a plastic cap. We actually had to break it. And then this has a cover out to the alley. Again, maybe for trapping coal down. I don't know. And that is the stairway that we came down. So we came down to the other side of that brick there. So interesting spaces, very heftily built. It's definitely not going anywhere. I guess one of these days we'll clean this up down here. Somebody had some fun someday or over a period of days just throwing stuff down there. Oh well. Guess it's not really hurting anything at the moment being here. Just random trash. So yeah, like I know a couple of those go to some floor drains up there and some other things. Someday we'll kind of figure out what is what. Some of this could be actual water piping, fire system piping. There's a variety of mix of pipes in here, and almost all abandoned. So in generally good condition down here, though. Oh, there's some chain. A chain hoist. I wonder if that still works. I didn't even notice that the one time I was down here. Huh. Well, you find something new all the time. I will say, I came down here the first time with only my cell phone light. It was creepy. This light here makes a big difference. I wonder if that works. This would have made a really nice haunted house area. We're a little past Halloween now, but maybe for next year. And it just seems to collect a little water that drips in from outside through the window well areas. So, not that big of a deal. But again, this is just kind of excess space. I'm not going to store much of anything down here. That would be a lot of work bringing it up and down the stairs, and that floor drain seems to be kind of silted up. It looks like some mud washed in here at some point. Maybe even through that wall a little bit. That is something to maybe address. Oh, there's some terracotta coping tiles in case we need some more for the roof. That's nice. And a little random lumber. Well, that never hurts. Anyway, that was fun. Back upstairs. All right, hopefully you're thoroughly creeped out after that little basement boiler dungeon tour. I'm gonna go show here a variety of improvements we have been able to make. There's plenty more to do, but just wanted to note that at the end of the video, I'm gonna do a question and answer session based on the comments left on the previous video. So stay tuned for that. I'll try to address everything as best and thoroughly as I am able to without just rambling forever. Next project is inside, and along the floor here, I think these were the actual shower stalls, and they were probably marble like we see in some other spots. I suspect they were just knocked off, so it left a little groove there. It's not deep, and it's not much, but when you get commercial building insurance, they come and do an interior and exterior inspection, not just like your homeowners may look at the exterior. They walk all around, take pictures, take notes, and they said, these are a tripping hazard. I don't know who's going to be tripping on them. It's just going to be us back here. It's not publicly open. But if I don't fix it, they'll cancel me and I guess keep my money, probably. That wouldn't surprise me. So we're going to fix it because I don't think that big of a deal to fix. There's a little bit on both sides. So I got a big bucket of self-leveler that has to be mixed up with water. It is not a pre-mixed bucket. And it says it's like 4,000 PSI. So that should be strong enough, I would think. It'll at least serve the purposes for making the insurance company happy. So I'll just be able to kind of go along and pour it in. So I guess I need to go get some water and give it a shot. All right, first step is getting them swept out, and there is a little bit of debris packed in. And then you can see I got a gallon of underlayment primer. Need to put that down, and then you have to let it dry. 3 to 24 hours is the time after where you can come in and put the underlayment down. If you go longer than 24 hours, you have to retreat. So I'm gonna blow these out and sweep the primer around with a brush, let that dry up, and then at this point, it's getting really hot in here. I think I'm gonna come back tomorrow morning when the sun you see shining there is a little lower in the sky and things haven't heated up quite as much as they've gotten to this afternoon, because tomorrow looks like another hot day. This mid-September upper 90s is not pleasant. As I was hoping would be the case, it's in several bags inside the bucket, so I can mix up smaller amounts without opening all of it at once. I couldn't even begin to guess how much this is going to need. So I guess mixing it up is about the only way. Pour it in, see what happens. Got the handy dandy drill mixer to make it a little easier. That's how far 2 bags went, and 2 bags was a mistake. It was starting to go off a little bit by the end there, because I do have to work it a little. I can't just pour it in. I'm leveling, but it's not level, so that is what it is. So just gonna mix up 1 bag this time. Hopefully there's enough in there to cover this section. That's just what I'm trying to get done today. There will be more to do after that, unfortunately. This 1 bucket here did not go as far as I hoped. As you can see, this whole strip here is complete. That should make the insurance company happy. And it is nicer, I'll be honest. But still need to do that whole strip. So I guess I'm gonna have to go get another bucket. But I am not going to do that today. It's about 98 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And thankfully, I don't think it's quite as hot in here. I'll take that. But it's still Sunday, and I don't need to be working and dripping sweat all day long. So I'm just gonna head home and maybe work on putting some of these videos together. But you can see where it really used up a lot. All of these, they all kind of slant the same way. I don't know if that was intentional or just happened. So it really took quite a bit to fill in some of those spots there. So got a little bit of the same thing going on that side. So I guess another whole bucket, and I'll have to move that stuff, of course, because it continues under there. So get that done, and then on to the next project. I don't know what that is yet. Maybe some of the brickwork like you can see right there. That'd be nice, but may just be some more cleanup. I don't know, we'll see. Next small task here was mount this mailbox. There was no way to receive mail here, not even a slot in the door or anything. So I forgot we make videos and stuff, so I just put it up. Just tap cons into the brick, nice and simple. Locking mailbox. I don't expect to get a lot of mail here, but want to be able to get anything that should happen to be addressed to here. As you can see, just a pretty simple locking mailbox so that it's relatively secure. Yay for whatever junk mail arrives first. Can't wait to see. A beautiful day to move some of our junk inside here. Of course, I got a pallet of Quick Crate right in the way, but we'll work around it. Ladders, barrels, pickets for Soulard rail, shopping carts, ice melt, all sorts of goodies. So that first day we were in here moving stuff in, if you remember, the electric was out, and I pulled the release, which allows you to manually open the door, which was great, because we could then get stuff in and out, except it won't relatch in. And we're not exactly overhead door repair people, but trying to see if we can figure it out. You're supposed to be able to pull on the chain and it just re-engages. So something's not catching or moving correctly. Yeah, that's exactly what you should be able to do. See, like on my door at home, you can feel it click and re-engage. The side openers are definitely the way to go. I'm sure there's some way to get this fixed. Hopefully we don't have to call out service. Guess who just got hit in the head with a hammer? This guy. Got 3 staples in the head, so thankfully not too big of a deal. Good old urgent care. In really quickly, so that's nice. Better than the ER. They say about 5 days, so should be healed up soon. Well, around here, code requires addresses on the rear of buildings in minimum 4-inch letters, or numbers. Well, I guess it could be letters too. For good reason, because we have alleys here, so emergency vehicles could be coming up to the rear. So just got some basic 5-inch stickers here. We'll put them on the door. I don't know how this was getting away for so long without any numbers, and they're certainly not up there. But we'll correct that now before I get cited for it, because that would be my luck. Check one more thing off the list. Well, it sounds like it just started pouring down rain outside. Thought the rain today was over. Oh well. So, as you can see, we unfortunately haven't made it too much further with setup, but we've gotten some more stuff in here. Kind of a disorganized mess as we figure things out. But getting some actual materials in here, and it's scrap metal holding spot for a moment. We're getting some of the scaffolding up here, ladders, various other odds and ends. Hopefully we have a little bit of time sometime soon to get all of these shelves assembled. I don't know about all of them, but enough at least. This is actually the first time I've been in here in the rain, and I'm not sure how apparent it is, but it's not terribly loud on the roof, so that's good. And it rained all day, and there's no signs of any leaks anywhere, so I'll take it. I promised a Q&A session to end the video here, and here we go. So going to run through some of the most common questions and comments that were on the first Municipal Bathhouse number 6 video and give some answers and maybe a little background further and a little future looking ahead. So definitely the most common comment was, wow, this building would make a great bar, restaurant, microbrewery, similar of the sort with both inside and outside space. And I absolutely agree. It would make a great microbrewery, or maybe a little distillery for some bathtub gin, going more on the bathhouse theme. I do have a neighbor that, well, it's been a little while since he's done it, but home brews and some other friends that do it as well. So, maybe there's a little potential there in the future. I guess we'll see how things come together. For the nearer term, of course, as we talked about in the last video, and we'll continue talking about, this is going to be used as a small office and mostly storage and shop space for my construction and very, very, very small development business. I'm more focused on the construction, of course. So both inside and outside, it's great space for that. And we will certainly talk about this more in the next video. Some of the exterior space, the lots that are currently vacant, while I would like to build on those long term, that is certainly long term, but I do want to landscape and fence those lots, and just grass is fine, whatever. I'm not a big fan of grass. We can make it look nicer with some native plantings that enhance both the beauty but also support the local wildlife. So, and big topic these days is native landscaping is great for soaking up stormwater, and we keep getting big rainstorms more often around here. So that is kind of a big deal. I'd like to direct the roof into rainscaping instead of just into the sewer. Keep the water local. So next up, a lot of comments about it's great to preserve the historic building and the character, and the building has great bones, but it's a shame that the fixtures are gone. I agree, absolutely. I am an urbanist first and foremost, but historic preservation means a great deal to me, and it is often a method to the means of creating great urban environments because, well, they were often built as great urban environments. We can look to the past to inform the future. It's also an expression of what our culture valued over time. And this is in particular an interesting piece for that because public bathhouses, there's still a need for that, but it's not really a thing you see often anymore. I actually knew a guy several years ago that had a box truck that had been converted to a mobile shower setup, and they always had people needing to use it. This is like a universal thing around the world. So, yeah, I would love, governments and who we elect is a reflection of what society and the people within value, and maybe we don't always value the correct things. I'm not going down a political rabbit hole here, but consider that as you would like. So I will not be converting this building back into a bathhouse. That would be beyond the means of my operations, but yeah, something to think about. Okay, next thing, it would make a great residential space as either like a primary residence or could be converted to some apartments. And it's great because there's both indoor and outdoor space. And again, 100% agree, but we've already talked about the, anywhere foreseeable future, what it's going to be used for. That said, I have a 3-story house that I live in that I have been renovating for 16 years now. I started in November of 2009. It's November of 2025. It'll be done someday. I don't know if it'll ever be done. I'm not even sure if I care. I'm sitting in it right now. This is my couch in my living room, and the wall behind me is still primer white. Part of the house is painted, part of it's not. Whatever. I don't even care anymore. I work on other people's stuff all the time. I'm like, the last thing I want to do is come home and work on my own stuff. That said, I just went down a rabbit hole. 3-story house. As I get older, I'm almost 40, so I got a ways, hopefully. But when I broke my foot 4 years ago, I was kind of stranded on my first floor because I have 12-foot ceilings. Also, that's a lot of steps, and I got pretty darn good at crutching up and down steps. But as I get older, that's something to consider, that maybe a 1-floor house with minimal barriers at the doors is a great way to go. Neighbor 2 doors over has a warehouse that's actually like 6,000 square feet, and he's got like a third of it for shop space, and the rest of it is a pretty darn awesome 1-floor kind of industrial vibe, lofty type space that they renovated themselves, made it their home, and it's a pretty awesome place. So yeah, that's a future thought. Who knows? Hopefully many years to go along with that. And I'll also note that, yeah, I'm sitting on my couch with a not very exciting background, but I've mentioned it previously. I really want to build a small studio space within the bathhouse so that we can do things like this and have a cool thing going. I don't know. We'll see what comes together with that. Related to that, though, I have also mentioned the idea of carving off a little portion of it for potentially a short-term rental kind of bathhouse theme thing. We'll see where that goes. Next up. Yeah, thanks for suggestions related to lighting and other improvements and stuff. I love hearing ideas from other people. The kind of meeting of the minds is a great way to approach things. There's certainly more than one method to do things in the construction and design world. And finally, I think the neatest comment was from a gent in the UK, and I'm sorry I don't have your name in front of me, but he has a bathhouse in his own hometown that has been renovated and turned into if I understand correctly, kind of a tech office type space, which is pretty cool. Love seeing any historic buildings continued to be used in any variety of manners, and I love hearing what people have done in other places, including around the world, and awesome hearing from viewers around the world. You know, we get this ability to connect with each other in ways that in the past we did not have any sort of dream of being able to do. So let's take advantage of it and share thoughts with each other. Related to that, this the first bathhouse video up to this point is now by far the most viewed video on my channel. 33,400 views, give or take, at the moment, and I'm recording this the night before that this video will publish, so it's a pretty current number. Hopefully that keeps on rising. I was hoping to get 10,000 views on this video since it's an interesting topic. I've had one long form and one short form video past 10,000 views on the channel up to this point, with 100 long form videos. And like, the joy of a small channel is having a bunch of views. So, you know, surpassing 10,000 and, you know, carrying on over time, who knows to what number. That's awesome. It's kind of what you hope for when you start putting videos out on YouTube. You know, you keep your expectations low because who knows if people will or won't watch you, and maybe you'll get tired of making videos, and thankfully I'm still enjoying that part of it, and I like sharing it, whether, you know, 5 people watch or 500 or 5,000 or maybe 500,000 someday. Who knows? Doesn't even matter. I just like documenting things and kind of having some fun with it. So again, thanks to everyone that has ever viewed, and hopefully you come back, and hopefully there's plenty more entertaining things to come back for. That's, you know, what you want. I don't want you watching boring videos. Hopefully the bathhouse and all our other projects continue to be fun, entertaining, and enjoyable, and maybe informative, depending on the perspective you're coming from. So with that, we're going to wrap things up until next time. Like I said previously, I don't know the schedule of publishing for bathhouse related videos. It's going to depend just on how often we can get things done, what money allows for, all that stuff. But I'd like to do it, you know, at least semi-regularly, keep things updated, because that also means we're getting things done semi-regularly. So we'll see. But we are also heading into winter, so don't know what the weather will have in store, and work has thankfully stayed busy as well. So that brings in the money to pay for things, but also takes up the time to do stuff. So it's always a balance. But if you haven't already done so, we'd really appreciate a like and a subscription. Keep following along for more of this interesting historic and construction related content. And again, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys on the next video, both here at the bathhouse and on our other projects.